Attorney General Pam Bondi gives a huge but disgusting update on the Jeffrey Epstein files. President Trump battles it out with Canada's new prime minister. The FBI has one of the biggest drug busts yet, and Iran says it has a weapon that can penetrate the United States and Israel with ease. With this domestic victory in hand, President Trump is now focusing on securing Canada's cooperation through trade talks with new Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. President Trump met with the Canadian Prime Minister at the White House to address ongoing trade tension and tariffs. The meeting was polite on the surface, with Trump congratulating Carney on his election and Carney calling Trump a transformational president. President Trump responded by saying, "I like this guy. You know who I didn't like? Justin Trudeau." So he just comes right out and says it. Now, still, major disagreements remain. Trump repeated his call for Canada to become the 51st state, arguing that it would boost both economies. Prime Minister Carney asked President Trump to stop saying that Canada should become America's 51st state, and then went on later to say that Canada is not for sale. President Trump replied, "Never say never." Now, President Trump also said, "We don't need anything from Canada." I disagree with this. Canada is a great trade partner and neighbor. They supply the United States with many necessary goods and services like oil and metals. I think what Trump means is, given enough time and money, the United States could replace Canada. But right now, why turn off that switch, spend hundreds of billions of dollars when we have a great trading partner right north of us? Now, I think all of this will resolve itself quickly. Scott Bessent of the Treasury has hinted that some of the biggest countries we trade with are about to close on their new deal with the United States. Furthermore, Trump still refused to lift the U.S. tariffs against Canada. So this is still an ongoing situation. But Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller described the meeting as positive, but also said this was like watching a master chess guy. Let me go ahead and roll that clip.
I had the pleasure of getting to be at the meeting today between the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Canada. What I witnessed was like watching a grandmaster in chess perform. President Trump has opened up a completely new relationship with Canada because of his strength and because of his diplomacy. The Prime Minister of Canada talked about finally contributing their fair share to our nation's defense, or to NATO's defense. Finally contributing and meeting that minimum 2% benchmark and climbing up from there, so they're not a free rider with the United States anymore. He talked about achieving fair trade with the United States and acknowledged, the Prime Minister of Canada acknowledged the need to strike a fair trade deal with the United States, as President Trump has long asked for. He emphasized, the Prime Minister of Canada, his deployment of troops and guards to the Canadian border at President Trump's request to keep fentanyl out of the United States of America. It's just one concrete win after another because of President Trump's leadership on this issue. And President Trump kept emphasizing two words. We want friendship with Canada, but we also insist upon and demand fairness from Canada. And President Trump will continue to hold fast to that requirement.
While tension with Canada appears to be easing a bit, the U.S. still faces significant challenges in its relationship around the globe, but no more than with China. Now, according to Secretary Scott Bessent, he will be meeting with China to talk about free trade. Let me show you what he had to say.
The world has been coming to the U.S., and China has been the missing piece. I was going to be in Switzerland to negotiate with the Swiss. Turns out the Chinese team is traveling through Europe, and they will be in Switzerland also. So we will meet on Saturday and Sunday. And, look, we have shared interest that this isn't sustainable, as I said before, especially on the Chinese side. And, 145%, 125% is the equivalent of an embargo. We don't want to decouple. What we want is fair trade.
But who made the first call? Like in a dating world, like who makes the first call here today?
There are lots of calls, Laura, is that there isn't a first call. There are a lot of contact points over time.
In a stunning blow to the Sinaloa Cartel of Mexico, Attorney General Pam Bondi and the FBI announced a historic fentanyl bust that could reshape the fight against America's deadliest drug crisis. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced the largest fentanyl bust in American history, with the DEA seizing 3 million fentanyl pills. Do you know how many people can die from 3 million fentanyl pills? They also collected 35 kilograms of meth, 75 kilograms of cocaine, 4,500 kilograms of heroin, 49 guns, and $5 million in cash. The operation targeted the Sinaloa Cartel of Mexico's network, run by Kingpin Heriberto Salazar Amaya, and led to 16 arrests, including 6 people in the country that were here illegally. Bondi stressed the importance of the bust in fighting the fentanyl crisis, where hundreds of thousands of Americans die every single year, believing they are taking some kind of recreational drug or oxycodone. Now, Pam Bondi said, "This was an incredible operation. It took months and months of work to get this massive amount of drugs and guns and cash off the street. They need to serve their time in an American prison to keep them off the streets. Who knows where they will go next? They're facing a substantial amount of time in prison, and there's a very big risk. We all know of releasing someone, especially to Mexico. Sending them back to Mexico to continue on with their drug business isn't going to happen with this administration." So they are not going to send these people back to Mexico. They're probably going to throw them in an American jail, or if nothing else, ship them off to El Salvador. Now, speaking of DOJ head Pam Bondi, we got a major update from her on the Jeffrey Epstein file situation. She was asked why it's moving so slow and has all of the evidence actually been destroyed. She then shares that no, in fact, there's so much evidence, it's overwhelming. She's now employed the FBI to go through all of the documents, all of the video recordings and tapes and images. Let me just roll the tape, because this is all happening under FBI Director Kash Pael's watch. So I trust that this is going to get done. But she lays out some of the grossness and also just all of the stuff that they're having to go through. Check this out.
James Comer said yesterday that all the Epstein files are missing. Can you confirm the status of them? They still haven't heard from you.
No, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement, but I'll call him later and find out.
Okay, now I have a lot more to share with you, but first, our amazing sponsor. COVID-19, cancer, diabetes, all of these kill far less than the #1 killer in America, which is heart disease. Heart disease causes 1 in 4 deaths in America. Every 36 seconds, somebody dies of heart disease. So what can we do about it? Well, recently I interviewed Kim Bright, founder of Brightcore Nutrition, and she explains how her product, Vitality, contains 7 powerful, clinically proven and patented ingredients that work synergistically to help you, naturally lowering blood pressure, balance cholesterol, improve circulation, and strengthen overall cardiovascular health. This powerhouse supplement comes in a capsule, which includes microactive CoQ10, which my cardiologist recommended, vitamin K2, grapeseed extract, and so much more that gives your body everything it needs to help your heart pump strong for many years to come. Anyone with high blood pressure or high cholesterol, anyone who wants to balance their blood sugar or has family history of heart disease should be taking Vitality every day. Now, I have an offer for you. Buy 2 bottles of Vitality, get 1 bottle absolutely free. I want you to check out the interview with Kim Bright so that you can take advantage of this. I'm going to leave that down below. But the educated staff at Brightcore can help you understand how this can help you. Now, if you want to get up to 50% off plus free shipping, instead of using the website below or the QR code, just give them a call at 888-908-4425. Okay, the Trump administration, they're not only tackling major issues like these, but they're also cost cutting for taxpayers. The Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has saved over $1,000 per taxpayer, reduced federal spending by $165 billion, exposed huge amounts of fraud and theft from the Democrat Party. I believe that it has really hurt their ability to fundraise and commit fraud in elections. Now, the savings came from selling off assets, canceling contracts, ending wasteful grants, reducing interest costs, cutting regulation, and shrinking the federal workforce. They have a wall of receipts with over 9,497 canceled contracts, including a $2.9 billion deal this week with the Department of Interior. That is going to save billions and billions of dollars. Now, DOGE also praised the Department of Transportation for eliminating $51 million in wasteful grants, including one that was focused on gender safety planning. Like, what is gender safety planning? I have no idea. Now, when it comes to managing money, this was something the Biden administration struggled with. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy had this to say: Biden and Buttigieg celebrated their infrastructure bill, $1.2 trillion, the largest infrastructure package known to man. They claimed it was going to change America. They spent less than 1% of the money on fixing air traffic control systems. They ignored the warnings. Instead, they spent their time injecting money into social justice and climate equity crap. So we are now finding out that of the $1.2 trillion, they've spent almost none of it. Now, let me know in the comments, are your roads better? Are your airports better? Are your trucking safety better? Are your ports better? Are your trains better? Are your roads better? So $1.2 trillion, they've spent almost none of it. Meanwhile, we're having more air traffic control issues, train issues than we've ever had. All right, now let me switch gears with you. Iran says they will be successfully testing a new missile, claiming it can bypass advanced U.S. and Israeli defense systems, easily penetrating both countries. The launch, led by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, marks a significant step in Iran's military development aimed at countering regional threats. Iranian officials say the missile's precision and stealth make it undetectable by current defense, though they provide no evidence for this. So is this all talk, or can they actually penetrate the United States and Israel? The test comes amid increased U.S.-Israel missile defense cooperation and ongoing nuclear talks with world powers. While Israel and the United States have not commented, experts warn the test could raise regional tension and lead to stronger defense necessities. Now, all of this is happening while India and Pakistan are about to go to war. These are two nuclear powers that are now exchanging missile attacks on each other. Go check out last night's video to learn more about that. While Iran tries to flex its military muscle with provocative missile tests, President Trump's diplomatic efforts are yielding unexpected results in the region, securing a fragile but committed Yemen-Iran-backed treaty. Now, Trump announced that the Yemen rebels, the Houthis, have agreed to stop attacking U.S. and allied ships in the Red Sea as they negotiate a final truce. In return, the U.S. will halt airstrikes on the Houthis in Yemen. The deal aims to ease tension in a key maritime route affected by Houthi drones and missile attacks, which have disrupted global trade. Trump has called the agreement a big step forward for regional stability. While the Houthis, supported by Iran, have not publicly confirmed the deal, U.S. officials have said that these attacks will significantly decrease starting today. Marco Rubio weighed in on the matter, stating, "This was always a freedom of navigation issue. These guys, they are a band of individuals with advanced weaponry that were threatening global shipping, and the job was to get that to stop. And if it's going to stop, then we can stop." So I think it's an important development. Now, President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance see this situation very differently. President Trump wants all of the attacks to stop by getting the Houthis to bend the knee. And J.D. Vance just wants the U.S. military to stop, saying, wait a minute, these are Middle East problems and mostly affecting the United Kingdom. Why are we spending our money on European issues once again? Well, that's because America has made itself the world police, and they have access to the American taxpayer's wallet. So we end up handling almost all of the problems. Well, that's why NATO is supposed to put in a bunch of money, right, to help ease the cost of everything. But so far, President Trump seems to be the only one holding their feet to the fire. So J.D. Vance, I kind of agree with him on that one. I also agree with Trump. Let's get this thing ended so that we don't have to keep wasting hundreds of millions of dollars on fighting these Houthi rebels. All right, that's my update for today. Thank you for stopping by. Give this video a like, share it with family members and friends, and I'll see you on the next video.